Hello guys, I'm back here with my next video on how to find the square roots and cube roots of a perfect and non-perfect number, that is non-perfect square and perfect square as well as cube, and the average of number, how to find the average of certain numbers are given. So in the last few videos I have taught you about number system, how to find the HCF and LCM, how to find the decimal fractions, and again the conversion of these decimal numbers into its fractions, original fractions, and then the simplification of problems based upon that. So we'll proceed to the next topic now, the square roots, cube roots, and the average. So in this section we will learn how to find the square roots and cube roots of a perfect square, a perfect cube, and those numbers which are not a perfect square or cube, that is we can call it a non-perfect square and a non-perfect cube, and the average of numbers. So the first topic is the square root of a perfect square, some numbers that when multiplied by itself gives you the original number. So basically those numbers are called the perfect square. In other words, we can take the example to solve this question, like I can say that if I have to find the square root of 25, so I want to find the number that when multiplied by itself give you 25. So we all know this is very easy one. 25, that is equal to 5 into 5. So we can say that the square root of 25 will be 5. And the symbol used for square root is given over here. So I can take the example. Just I told you about 25. Suppose I have to find the square root of 25. It is given root under 25, that is equal to root under 5 multiplied by 5. The square root will be equal to 5. Now if I have to find the square root of 49, then I will write it as root under 7 into 7, that is 7 multiplied by 7. So the square root will be equal to 7. Similar way I can take any example, any other example, like suppose I have to find the square root of 81. 81 is equal to root under 9 multiplied by 9, so the square root will be equal to 9. So this way we'll find the square root of numbers of a perfect square. Now I'm going to teach you how to find the cube root of a perfect cube. So the best way to find is to break the number in its prime factor. The perfect cube will be thrice the multiple of the same number. So it is as similar as the square one, that is the perfect square one. There we had the twice the multiple of that number. Here we have the thrice the multiple of the same number. So the cube root of the number will be that number only. For example, I can say that cube root of 27 is equal to, I can write it as cube root under 3 multiplied by 3, again multiplied by 3. I can see that 27 is thrice the multiple of 3. That means the cube root of 27 will be equal to 3. I can take another example, 7 to 9. So its answer is 9. As you can see, the cube root of 7 to 9 will be cube root of 9 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 9. We can see that it is thrice the multiplication of 9. Thrice doesn't mean 9 3 is 27. It means 3 times when we are multiplying 9 with itself, we are getting 3 over here. So the cube root of 7 to 9 is 3. We can take any other example. Let's take the very small example of 8. We can see that 8 is when you multiply 2 3 times with itself, we get 8 as answer. So that means the cube root of 8 will be equal to 2. So these were the topic. Now when I had I have taught you how to find the square roots of a perfect square as well as the cube root of a perfect square. Now I'm going to tell you how to find the square root of a non-perfect square and the cube root of a non-perfect cube. That is any number. If a certain random number is given and I have to find its square root or I have to find its cube root, I can easily find it. Let me tell you, there are certain ways like the prime factorization method, but in prime factorization method, if it is not a perfect square or a perfect cube, I'll get some number, a prime number, of which we have to find its root. That is, if we'll have to find it in the decimal values. So I'll teach you now how to find the square root and the cube root of a number which is not a perfect square or a perfect cube. So now I'll tell you how to find the square root and the cube root of a non-perfect square, or you can say in generalized term I can say that this is the method that I'm going to teach you for finding the square root or cube root of any number that may be a perfect square or a non-perfect square, because this method is applicable for the perfect square also, but this is basically the method for finding the square root or cube root of a non-perfect square or a non-perfect cube. We can find the square root and cube root of any number through this. So look, you can see here it's this I have to find the square root of any number over here. So let's take an example to find the square root of any number. Suppose I am taking 124. So first of all, what I have to do, I'll just find the prime factorize. I can find it using prime factorization method. I can find the prime factors of this number. So what will be the prime factor? That will be equal to 2 multiplied by, that is when I'm going to divide it by 2, the quotient over here will be 62. Now again 2, the quotient will be 31, and 31 is not the multiple of any number, is itself is a prime number, so I'll write 31. So the square root of 124 will be equal to root under 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 31. I can see that I have to find the, first of all I have to find the square root. So I can see here that I have 2 times, so I can write it as 2 root under 31. So ultimately I have to find the square root of 31 and I have to multiply it by 2 so that I could get a number which is the square root of 124. So this could be sometime not applicable, because again you have to find the square root of this number which is a prime factor, which is a prime number, itself. So there is another method for finding the square root. So you can see here, suppose I have to find the square root of 124. Okay, so I'll write 124 here. Now what I'll do, I'll arrange these number in the form of squares starting from right side. So see, 2 and 4 is a pair, I'll arrange them in a pair. So 2 and 4 is a pair, and 1 cannot be a pair, so I'll leave it as it is, and I'll divide. Now I will divide it, the number starting from left, in pairs. So I have 1 over here, so I have to divide it with the simplest number, and that number should be multiplied by itself so that it get subtracted, it get divisible very easily. So what could be the smallest number? I think 1. So 1 multiplied by 1, the quotient over here will be 1, and again I'll write here 1. I'll subtract 1 from it, 0. Now I have 24. So I have 24 left in the remainder now. So I have to find the number which can divide 24 now, which can cut 24 over here now. So what I have to do, what will be the divisor right now over here? You can see the divisor will be, the first divisor is 1, again we'll add 1 to it. So again I'm adding 1 over here. The next divisor will be 2. Now this place is vacant, the second term is vacant. I need a number, and the whole term will be multiplied by the same number so that I get the least number to be subtracted from 24, so that I get the least remainder, or maybe 0 as a remainder. So what will be the number? Let's try with 1. If I write 1 over here, I'll get 21 multiplied by 1, that is equal to 21, which is actually not equal to 24. I can try for 2. I'll write 2 over here, the whole term will be multiplied by 2. The term that I'll write here will be 44, which is larger than 24. So I'll not write 2, I'll write 1 over here. 1 I've written over here. Now I'll write 1 again here also, sorry, not here, 1 as a quotient over here also. Now 21 multiplied by 1 is equal to 21. I'll subtract it, I'll get 3. I'm getting something as a remainder over here, so I haven't got my answer till now. Now what I'll do, I'll again I'll add 1 again here. What is the next divisor? The next divisor over here will be 22. I have to add the third term over here because I am dividing the number remainder for the third time. So I have to add the third number over here, but I have 3 only, and I had told you in the first step only I have to divide it in the pair. It need to be a pair if it is a single number. So what I'll do, I'll put a point over here, I'll put a decimal over here. So now I can write 2 zeros here because I'm finding the square root. I'll put 2 zeros. In case of cube root, I'll put 3 zeros. Okay, now I need the number which will be multiplied, which will multiply with the whole number so that I get the least number to be subtracted from 300, so that I get the least remainder, or 0 as the remainder. So what could be the least number? Suppose I write 1 over here. the term which will come here will be equal to 221, which is of course smaller than 300. If I write 2 over here, I'll get 444, which is larger than 300. So I'll write 1 over here. I'll give quotient as 1, 2, 2, 1. I'll subtract the value. I'll get remainder as 79, right? Okay, I'm getting 79 as the remainder. Now again I'll add 1 because quotient was 1. The new divisor will be 2, 2, 2. Now I have to write the fourth term because I am dividing the remainder fourth time. So what could be the number? See, I'll multiply it by 1. Now 79, the divisor is very larger than the dividend over here, so I have to write some other number over here. I have already given decimal point over here, so I can write again 2 zeros. Now I have to write a number. Suppose I am starting from 1, the whole term will be multiplied by 1. I'll write 2, 2, 2, 1, which is very small. I can go for another number. Suppose I write 2 over here, then I'll get 4, 4, 4, 4, which is again smaller. So I can try for 3. 3 will be equal to 6, 6, 6, 9. So I can write that number over here, but I can try for 4 also. But when I'm trying for 4, I'll get the number in 8th terms. That means which will be larger than this. So I'll go for 3. I'll write 3 over here. So my term that will come here will be 9, 6, 6, 6. The remainder will be 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now you can see that I can go for another division process also, but I don't think I need to go for another process. I need to go for dividing it further, because I have got two terms after the decimal over here, which is sufficient for finding the answer. So I can say that the square root of 124 will be equal to 11.13. That is, this number when multiplied by itself will give approximately equal to 124. So this is the way for finding the square root of the number, and this is quite you can say that this process is going quite lengthy, but when you get once used to it, you can find it very easily, like I did, without taking help from any book. I can do it very easily. So I can find the square root of number by this method. And you may think that I can use the calculator, but in aptitude examination, let me tell you, you're not supposed to use any mobile phone, any calculator, or anything, any electronic device. This is totally subjected to some unfair means. So this is the way for finding the square root of the number. You can check this out. Multiplying 11.13 by itself, you will get number approximately equal to 124. You will always get a number in decimal form for finding the square root of a number which is not a perfect square. So you are familiar with the concept of finding the square root of the number. You know well how to find the square root of the number now. So now I wanted to tell you how to find the cube root of the number, but I'll not tell you, because I want you to try it once by your side. And in the next video, I'll tell you how to find the square root and the cube root of the number by using some of the very important trick that you just see the number and you will tell its square root or the cube root. You must have heard the name of Vedic mathematics. There are certain formulas, not formulas, there are certain tricks which are very useful for the competitive exams. I'll be telling you, as well as the manual method for finding the cube root of the number. So you guys need to try it once, and let's move to the next topic. Okay, till now I've told you now how to find the square root and the cube root of a non-perfect square or cube respectively. That is, those who are not in the form of a perfect square or a perfect cube. Now I'll switch to another topic, that's the average. So how to find the average of certain numbers. So basically we have a formula for finding the average of certain numbers. So for that we have some formulas, like suppose I have to find the average of a certain given number, 5 or 6 numbers. So the formula is sum of observation divided by total number of observation, that is some of the observation that is to be observed, and the total number of observation means the total number of times it has occurred. So let's take an example to understand this. Find the average of five numbers. The numbers given here are 5, 7, 8, 6, and 4. So the solution of this sum will be sum of observation is equal to 5 plus 7 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4. We can sum it easily. This is equal to 30. Now I have to find total number of observation. We can see the total number of numbers occurring here is 5. So the average of number will be 30 upon 5 is equal to 6. So the average of this sum is equal to 6. We have a lot more problems based upon this. This was the most easiest problems that you might have uh, solved this sum in 8th or ninth standard. So there are many more problems based upon this theory. So I'll be giving you the sums, the questions that have uh, come in some of the competitive exams like GATE, CAT, or some of the company has asked in their aptitude question paper. So thank you so much for watching the video. This video has been made by Solution for All. You can follow us on Instagram. The ID is Solution for All. Thank you so much.